Hey, good morning, guys. Again, Chambers is tough this morning, for me anyway. Maybe not for you, but he's talking about being born again. It's January 20th, and the scripture references John 3, where Nicodemus comes to Jesus. It's interesting how Jesus answers or responds to Nicodemus, because Nicodemus says, "We know you have to be a teacher from God because of the miraculous signs you're doing." And immediately Jesus responds with what Nicodemus needs, not necessarily the subject matter that Nicodemus brought up. And he says, unless a man's born again of the Spirit, he can't see heaven. So, anyway, so Chambers is tackling that. If you, those of you who were at the Bible study last week, I believe, and I was talking about running, and what a great analogy it is for the Christian life. And some people never quite understand the joy of running. It's always just a burden, and it's always and even to those who are runners. And there've been years where I've been much more a runner than I am now. But the years where I've run consistently, there are definitely joys and times that running is very brings a lot of pleasure and not just pain. I remember one time we had left. I was working on Peter Jefferson Place, and we went down Pantops Mountain to the intersection there with River Road, I guess it is, and then up Long Street, and that's a tough climb. But when we got to the top, we got to Locust Avenue and turned left on Locust, and I remember, for some reason I remember that runner's high that people talk about. So we were already a couple 3 miles in, and as soon as we turned left on Locust, my legs just absolutely felt like nothing I've ever felt, and I just took off. And it was weird because I usually didn't take off from the group, but I did. I felt like I just could run faster, and the faster I ran, the faster I felt like I could run. My legs didn't hurt at all. Anyway, so all that to say, there are times when the Christian life just kind of makes sense, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I was making it something it's not. So, back to Chambers. He's talking about being born again, and that it is this constant, consistent, perpetual thing. It's not a one-time thing. It's this freshness that comes daily, minute by minute, constantly refreshing us, if you will. And he says in the first paragraph here, being born again from above is a perennial, perpetual, eternal being, a freshness all the time in thinking and in talking and in living, the continual surprise of the life of God. And so here's where I think a lot of believers have a hard time connecting there. It doesn't seem fresh, feel fresh, and he deals with this, and he says staleness is an indication of something out of joint with God. And I think, oh, okay. So Chambers really kind of puts his finger in the wound here and kind of presses a little bit. And here, I think this might be the key to it right here in this next to last paragraph. He says, keep all the life perennially open to Christ. Don't pretend with him. Don't pretend. And I think that's one thing we're really, really good at. Pretending things are okay. Pretending I'm fresh when I'm not. And it says, sorry, I'm just going to keep reading here because it's really good. Are you drawing your life from any other source than God himself? If you're depending upon anything but him, you will never know when he's gone. And I highlighted that in mind just because I think, oh, okay, that's kind of at the center of it. That's when being born again is no longer fresh and perpetual, and it's when I get wrapped up in all the things that I think a walk of faith is, the things that I do, and the things that I say, and the things that I eliminate from my life, and instead of knowing him, just knowing him, and drawing everything from him, instead of trying to draw it from myself, because we've been talking about recently. Robert's been preaching on the woman at the well, and what he says to her is this living water that springs up kind of continually. It never ends. And I think that's what Chambers is referring to here. So if that's not something you're experiencing, I would say pray for it. Let God do it in your life, and be willing to kind of set all your assumptions and presuppositions aside. All right, have a great day, guys.